Really?
Yep.
Let me see here. Hold on a second. I don't know if I'm buying that.
Yeah. You got questions? I got answers.
Oh, here we go. Hey, no, I don't have questions. I have YouTube. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube cures everything. I tell you what,
does.
I don't know if I've ever told the story on the podcast, but I had a moment because when I was a kid, my dad was like, he would, unless the car was dying, like dead, and I mean like dead, he wouldn't take it to a mechanic. Like he would figure it out and fix it, right? Of course, again, cars back in the 80s and 90s versus cars today.
Oh, yeah.
Completely different animal, right? So I grew up around, changing my own spark plugs, changing my own wires, changing my own oil, like that kind of a thing. So anyway, about, 2 years ago, I get this wild hair to do my own tune-up.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to tune up my own truck. And it's going to be awesome. Like, I'm going to get out there. I'm going to get dirty again. Like, it's going to be fun, right? Well, I get out there and, it wasn't fun. Like, it's like I realized just how slothful I've gotten in my older age. Because I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So the first few plugs are always easy, right? Mm-hmm. And blah, blah, blah. They're spaced correctly. Okay, good, whatever.
Yeah.
I get to the last plug.
Mm-hmm.
Last plug.
Yeah.
It's the way the motor was it was kind of tucked underneath the dashboard a little bit.
Yeah, so it was like behind. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it was a Tahoe. So
Ooh.
I had to like maneuver the protector plate for the air conditioning thing and then kind of just squeeze my chubby sausage fingers back in there.
So obviously it's a V8.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And get back there, get the socket on the plug, put it on there, and I'll be damned if I didn't break it right off.
Oh, the spark plug?
In the block.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes. And not only did I do that, but of course I slammed my knuckles into some foreign metal thing on my truck. So after about 10 to 15 minutes of just rampant cursing and screaming in my garage, I'm coming to the acceptance that this is going to cost me probably $1,000, right? Because that's the kind of thing you go to a mechanic and obviously you don't know because you just broke the thing off, right? Like you don't know any better.
Yeah.
So it's like cha-ching, right? I'm about to pay for a trip to Vegas for some mechanic out there. So then it's like, long story short, I just get it in my head like, well, God, you know what? Let me just look on the internet before I give up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Before I call the tow truck.
Yeah, right?
Because you can't move the car.
Well, exactly. The spark plug's broken, so you got only 7 cylinders.
I tell you what, man. I got on there. I Googled it. Mm-hmm. It led to videos on YouTube. I got on YouTube. And God bless the redneck who put the video out there. I swear to God, it was straight up like, hey, everybody. Hey, did you just break your plug off in your motor? Yeah, I bet you. Of course, I'm sitting there like, well, I guess I did.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be watching you.
Guess how stupid easy it was to get that plug out.
Oh, how stupid easy.
It was so stupid easy. What he told me to do, what the video told me to do was take the plug, take the socket, take the cardboard box that the new plug came in, tear it up, and line it inside of the socket.
Okay.
So you wrap it inside of that socket. Mm-hmm. You get back there. You push it down over the plug. Mm-hmm. It grabs the plug and it grips it.
Okay.
And pulled it right out. Super
wow.
clean. Dude. YouTube saved me so much money.
You're like, thank God.
Yeah. Moral to that story, pay a mechanic. You are not that awesome anymore. You may have been at 14, but this is not that day and age.
Right? Things have definitely changed since I was in auto shop.
Yeah.
Auto tech.
So did you have to go to school for auto tech, or did you just grow up around it or get the job doing it and learn as you went?
So the story starts out, my sister and I were, I have a twin sister, and it was summertime, and my mom hated her boyfriend at the time. So she's like, you guys are not staying home alone. You're going to go get jobs. And she went out to the body shop, and she's like, hey, can you hire my girls to sweep up and answer phones? So they're like, sure, why not?
You got to be kidding.
And so we started out sweeping up.
Did she take you with her when she went and asked him to give you a job? Oh.
Yes.
So you and your sister are just literally standing there like,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, this is embarrassing.
Wow.
So we started pretty quick, and then from there because I guess the shop didn't have a secretary at the time. That's how it worked out, and it was 2 blocks from our house, so we just walked there. And then when they did hire a secretary, the owner goes, well, do you guys want to stay and learn, or do you want to, just be on your merry way? And so we're like, well, yeah, we like the money. Let's do this. And so we started learning how to prep cars, paint cars, do body work. And then from there, we took auto tech because that's, piqued our interest.
Wow.
Yep.
And how long did you do that for?
I was with the body shop for 8.5 years.
See, that's kind of a dramatic change, man. So you were there 8 years. Mm-hmm. You've been with Carl now 8 years.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere, though.
Okay,
this is not like an 8-year switch.
Like in 6 months, you're not going to show up like, hey, guess what? Like,
no.
I'm an ambassador to, some foreign country now. Okay, cool.
Although that would be interesting. Do I get to travel?
I don't know. Yeah, it's a one-way ticket probably, but yeah.
But I've also bartended, and I did event planning, so I planned weddings and showers and stuff like that. So
Jeez.
I've kind of done all kinds of things. And then the last job that I had before I started with Carl was project management for a web development company.
Jeez.
Yeah, I told you, eclectic.
Dude, your resume is like all over the place.
Yeah.
Eclectic. Dude, it's like a Pollock painting. It's like, hey,
a little here.
By the way,
a little there.
Did I mention I'm an amateur lawyer? Like, wait, what? Okay.
And I went to school for design, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just all over.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay. Just.
Yeah.
Nice. That was supposed to be a machine gun somewhere.
Yeah, making sure that I'm hitting every field out there.
Right. It's like a Tommy gun. Just spray it. There you go. That's awesome. So, 8 years in credit repair.
And I've learned a lot.
I bet you have. Well, because, things are always, like, I don't know. I remember, and this was, years ago, the credit repair people it was like, they were like, forget it. Like, no, it's a sham. They're just going to send a bunch of dispute letters. They're going to screw your credit up even worse than it was. They're going to take your money, blah, 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 right?
Yeah. That's how Carl started the company, right? He got ripped off by... Yeah, okay.
I was able to weasel that much of the story out of... Yes, dude.
He got ripped off.
I had his head in a vice, and I'm like, keep talking. So... But yes, he told me the story. And it's much the same kind of story as a lot of people, as I'm hearing more and more from certain loan officers.
Yeah.
They took out a loan, they hated the LO, or the LO did a crappy job, or either that or the opposite is it just sparked their interest so much. But yeah, I've heard the story of Carl, and and I've ran across plenty of those shady characters.
Yes.
There used to be a guy down in South Texas, I kid you not, he had a TV commercial. Okay.
This is already starting out funny.
Dude.
I can imagine.
Yeah, he's chubby like me. Latin, not shockingly Caucasian. And his whole line was, what has 2 thumbs is awesome and can fix your bad credit. This guy.
Oh,
and then
God.
his phone number would flash across the bottom. And I remember thinking, like, if this dude is still in business in 1 year, I'm going to rethink my life choices. Like,
did you ever follow up on that? Was he?
He went out of business about 1.5 years later.
Oh, God.
Yeah, like, I think it was like, like there was a lot of drama. But you would see it. Like, credit repair pop up, credit repair go away.
Yeah, right.
Credit repair pop up, credit repair go away.
Yes.
and it's because there's a lot to do. Now, I think I mentioned this when I interviewed Carl, like, hell, I'm not just a fan or a friend. Hell, I'm a client.
Yeah.
Like, you guys did a lot for me back after the financial collapse. You know what I mean? To get some things squared away and polished.
Yeah.
So I got to see it firsthand, and so that's why, like, you guys are always my go-tos. Whenever I talk to my people or whatever. But let's dive into that, right? Because for a lot of people, it is a scam.
Yeah.
Right? So what makes you guys any different?
Education. I think
Stop it.
That's one of the biggest things, because if people make the same mistakes over and over, it doesn't matter what you do to their credit. Mm-hmm. They're still going to come back. They're still going to have issues. But we also kind of make sure that and I shouldn't say kind of, our goal is to make sure that we provide the best service possible, customization, We do free consultations because we actually gather information during this time.
Yeah, I remember that part. Like, it was almost a little uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Like,
I
had
questions.
I had to be a little vulnerable about it. You know what I mean? Like, I had to, and you got to tell the truth, right? Like,
Yes, exactly.
yeah, because you got to be honest with yourself as much as you got to be honest with the person who's trying to help you clean it up.
Yeah, exactly. So we got to make sure that we're on the same team here, right? So if somebody goes through and they don't know what to expect, they're not going to know how to move forward, okay? If they don't have any credit established, we can clean up their credit all day, but then they're not going to have a score at all. Mm-hmm. And if they have maxed out credit cards and don't know that, hey, that's 30% of your credit score right there, why don't you pay those bad boys down? They're still going to be kind of stuck in, a certain area. So it's making sure that they have the right education and understanding how credit works. I talk about how credit works all the time.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing to take away from that is you got to start thinking of your credit report and stop worrying about the scores so much. The credit report is not a balance sheet of what you owe. It's a history of how you've paid, right? If we think about it in terms of reviews, we do Google reviews, we do Yelp reviews, we're reviewing other companies. Well, the creditors are reviewing us. They're determining whether or not they want to do business with us, just like we do that with Google and Yelp. Do we want to do business or spend our money at this restaurant? Let's just say ABC restaurant had horrible reviews 4 years ago, but maybe they went through a management change. And in the last several months, those reviews are great. So you got to look at that kind of information and think of it that way. Your goal is to make sure that you're getting good reviews.
Well, but everybody's so fixated on the score.
I know.
I mean, it's all about the score.
Yeah. What's my score?
And it's really not. I mean, well, let me rephrase.
Well, it is and it isn't.
It is and it isn't, right? Like, I've had times where, you'll see, and again, there's a lot that goes into looking at a credit report, right?
Oh, yeah.
But like, if, those who know how to analyze credit, those who know how to look at an actual report deeper than just FICO score and late pay, you know what I mean? Like, I've looked at reports as like, okay, yeah, like, there's a couple of hickeys here, but what happened?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what? And a lot of times, there's a really good reason as to why it happened.
Yeah.
They're not bad borrowers. They're not bad people. They just, they had a medical issue.
Yes.
They had something traumatic happen. Yeah.
Job loss.
Now, there are others.
Yes.
That, holy cow. I got credit. Credit mean get it. Let's go.
Yeah.
No.
And you could see the difference. When you look at somebody's credit report, you can tell, are they somebody who had good credit, who has good intentions, they're trying to make their bills on time and had something happen? Or are they the type of person that's like, well, I'm just going to get this and, oh, well, I can't pay it now. I got all these payday loans out and I'm not going to pay those back.
Yeah.
I have 5 cars that were repossessed in 5 years.
Some of that, though, I think lack of education lets you fall into a trap.
Yeah.
Payday loans scare the heck out of me, man.
Yeah.
Like, and I think now, I don't think you see them as much as you did at one point.
Not as much, right.
But there was a period where it was like in every gas station I would go into.
Yeah.
Quick cash.
Yeah.
Use your car title.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to hold up a car title.
Yeah.
For a $400 loan.
Right.
That's scary.
Yeah. That's your way to work.
Yeah. Yeah. Miss a payment.
Yeah. No. Don't do it. Don't do it.
So, okay. So, education.
Education.
Which I think is huge, right? Like, I think that's great. And what else?
Like I said, quality of service, customer service. We make sure that the client has their hand held throughout the entire process. We want to make sure that they stay up to date on the things that they're supposed to do. So there's a credit coordinator that's assigned to their file that has all the information about what their instructions are on their side. So what to pay down, if they need to open up any more credit, that kind of thing.
Wow.
And we've been doing this since 2005, so clearly we have a handle on what we're doing here.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I loved, and I'm not saying you're the only ones who have it, but when I utilized your services, was the app. I mean, not the app, but the website.
The online portal.
Yeah, man. That was cool.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like, I didn't have to wait for a phone call from you.
Right.
Or well, not you specifically. You weren't even my case manager, but I didn't have to wait for a phone call or an email update. I could just log in there and see what was happening.
Exactly.
And it was very transparent.
Yes. And constant communication.
Well, and that's the other part, too, because, I think you got, like, live chat links and the whole 9 yards, but the transparency of it.
Right.
Like, I was told what to expect. I was told what I needed to do.
Yep.
I did those things, and then I got to sit back and watch as it goes. And I mean, it's not instant gratification.
That's very correct. And that's what people need to understand is the credit doesn't get cleaned up overnight because it didn't happen overnight.
Right.
It takes time.
But, yes, right? Like, it's a process just like anything else.
Yeah.
But the transparency, I keep going back to that transparency because kind of coming up earlier on in my mortgage career, and I would encounter these, like I talked to you, these shadier people. It was just, oh, don't worry, bro, I'll call you with updates.
Yeah. Never hear from him.
You know what I mean? And like in this case, I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Like everything's visible.
Yeah, we have enough team members anyhow that we're trying to make sure that everybody stays involved. So when I work with a client, I get them, I go over the education piece, make sure that they understand what they need to do on their side. And let's face it, people forget. So we follow up with an email. I make sure that everything's written down. Mm-hmm. And again, people forget. They forget about those emails. So we make sure that the credit coordinator follows up on that. And then I follow up with you as a lender so that you know what's going on with the client. And you can check in and say, hey, buddy, you still following up? You still paying down those bills? You still, following the instructions? So This way we work as a team to help get these people
You're still engaged
along.
Yeah.
Keep on moving, buddy.
Yeah, come on. Step it forward.
Keep stepping.
Have you guys ever gone back and looked at like how many people you've helped? Like the number?
No, I haven't.
I'd be curious to know because I know it's a lot.
Yeah.
I know you've had a lot of people in there. And even then, I also know there's a lot of areas you guys haven't even scratched the surface of yet. I mean, you guys pretty much have stuck to like the major metro areas.
Correct. Yeah, we're actually in Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, San Antonio. We are in Colorado, Florida, Oklahoma, and with me being up in Chicago, I tapped into the market there.
Why did you go to Chicago?
That's where I grew up. I love Chicago.
Is that where you got the body shop job?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Why did I think you were a Texas girl?
No.
No?
Nope. Born and raised in Chicago.
But you lived here for a while.
5 years. Yeah.
In
Chicago's home.
Dang. Oh, that's brutal. I'm not going to hold that against you, especially because you guys just bought Whataburger. So.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah. At first I was confused by that. I kept seeing, this.
There's a lot of hate.
Oh, I know. All this hate. Like, people talking bad about Chicago and then talking about don't take our Whataburger. And I'm like, what is going on? What is this?
Right? Don't Chicagoize my Whataburger.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like,
they're gonna stop. Happening? Like they're gonna stop putting jalapenos on it or something like that. Yeah. I
don't think so.
Well, they just don't want it to be another In-N-Out. Oh, I just said it. Hello. Never mind. Right. Well, and honestly, I think the noise is worn off of that, especially now with this whole Popeyes and Chick-fil-A debate going on.
Okay, I missed that too. What's that?
So apparently, I just heard about it yesterday.
Okay, so
apparently, Popeyes has come out with some new chicken sandwich. Yeah. And there's this big debate that it's way better than Chick-fil-A.
Really?
I got no clue. I mean, I love Popeyes for a whole separate reason than I love Chick-fil-A. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah, like it's just, it's something to talk about, I guess, that isn't the president right now. So,
hey, there's no such thing as bad publicity, right?
Yeah, just ask the current administration. Yeah, I mean, it's straight up, dude. Like, dude, it's amazing. I mean, I'm not political, so I'm not on a soapbox for it.
Yeah.
But wow. It's been a wild 4 years, dude.
Well.
And I have a sneaky suspicion it's going to be a wild 4 more.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I kind of do. I'd be shocked. I haven't, like, I'm looking at the Democrats to see if there's somebody there who I think could actually go toe-to-toe with what they got to go toe-to-toe with. I don't know, man.
I try to stay out of the politics because, I mean...
Well, because you're in sales.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so do I.
I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
Politics, religion, all that. Yeah, I avoid it like the plague.
Yeah, you have to because so many people get butthurt.
Yeah. Like, I actually had a case once where, because, Movement being a faith-based company, and,
Yes.
People just, not everybody, but you always find that one occasional person that, kind of mistakes culture for cult. And I actually had somebody one time who told me, he was like, man, I really like what you guys are doing, but, yeah, I don't know about the religious thing. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And this person was like, yeah, no, I'm agnostic or I'm atheist or something like that. I'm like, dude, we got atheists at work here.
Yeah.
Like, we have wine with dinner. We just bless it first, Like, I mean, it's not, they're not beating you over the head. It's just, it was built, it's one of the foundation pillars for Casey, our founder, one of our founders. And Toby. Shouldn't leave Toby out. But,
when did religion become such an offensive thing to people?
When everything else became offensive, in my honest opinion. Like, when you got to walk around, I mean, because in sales, we've always, especially if you're B2B or you're, like whatever, if you're in sales period, like, you've got to have a certain ounce of neutrality.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Got to walk that line.
You do. Fine line. You do. And I've seen a lot of people just blow that line out of the water.
So have I.
So it's like they didn't get that. They didn't get that memo,
right?
Yeah. And
you missed that day, didn't you?
Yeah, I think you slept through that part of class. But it's like you always kind of have to maintain a certain ounce of neutrality, not negating what your core beliefs are, but just
right.
You got to have a certain amount of openness because you got to gel with so many different types of people. Okay.
Yes, exactly. And I found that I've really had to become that person who can just mesh and go with any crowd, any group, anytime, anywhere.
Right.
And I think that's
chameleon.
what sales is. Yeah. You have to just kind of adapt.
You have to be a chameleon.
Wherever you are.
You have to be a chameleon. I mean, when you get home, you can have your hardline beliefs.
Right, exactly.
Like you can yell at, CNN or whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. But, when you're out there and you're doing your thing.
The business, yeah.
Hey.
This is about business.
Business is not supposed to be emotional.
Right.
But, man,
it's business.
I've seen so many people blow that line up. Like,
I found that just in everything that I've done, from bartending to sales, I can really talk to anybody now.
Yeah.
I was trying to see the bats last night. I still have not seen those darn bats.
Really?
Yeah. I've wanted to see them every time I've come to Austin. I finally got down
They're bats, dude.
I know, but I still wanted to...
They're freaking bats.
I wanted to see them. It looked so cool. So anyway.
Oh, my God. It's a winged rat. Look.
And, yeah, it really did smell.
Did it?
Yeah.
I don't go do that.
But I went all by
I've
myself.
lived here for 10 years, dude, and you can ask my wife. We don't know.
We're not seeing the bats.
I'm not going to go see no bat. I know people who ride the boat underneath the bridge. It's like, dude, I don't want to do that.
What if they poop on you?
That's what I'm saying. I get mad enough when I walk out in the morning and the birds just raided my car.
Yeah, right?
I'm gonna stand there, with an umbrella? Like, hey.
Hey, look up.
Yeah.
Maybe open your mouth a little bit.
Yeah, I think this is known as guana. Yeah, no. I ain't trying to do all that, man.
But I was driving down the bridge, so I went by myself after I went to a jiu-jitsu class, and I went down the bridge.
Hold up. Back it up. You went to a jiu-jitsu class?
Yes.
You're in jiu-jitsu?
Yes.
What belt?
I just got my blue belt.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I got to roll. So they actually had not a class, but an open mat. And I got to roll with a couple of these really awesome blue belt women. And it was just really cool to go to a different gym and to learn some different techniques that, they're saying things and I'm like, I've never heard that before. And I've been doing this for a year and a half. Can you please explain? Show me what you're talking about. And so they're showing me these different moves and it was great.
Well, were they saying it in Spanish or what?
No, it was just, there's so many names for some things that it's kind of like, oh, okay, all right, you showed me, now I got it. Mm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
That's crazy. So what gym? What are you, are you Gracie or?
No, the gym I go to is Roll Academy.
Okay.
And it's in Orland Park.
Okay.
It's outside of Chicago. And
dude, south side.
Southwest, not south side.
Sorry.
Don't go to the south
Southwest. Southwest, and she's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Don't try it, people. Don't try it.
My twin sister got me into it.
When she tells you to pay your bills, you better pay your bills.
Yeah.
Wow.
You pay that enrollment fee.
So what made you go jiu-jitsu?
My sister, she made me.
Is she like further ahead or what?
She's a little bit further ahead, but it was more like I was having some issues with some anxiety, and the odd thing is I was having this reoccurring nightmare, and she's like, just go to the gym with me. She's like, just try it once. And I went once. I'm like, all right. She's like, well, I just enrolled you, so yeah, you're gonna be stuck for 6 months. And I go, oh, okay.
Wow.
So I started doing it, and then the anxiety went away, the nightmares went away, and so I love jiu-jitsu.
I hear it's an amazing workout.
It really is. Yeah.
We actually are at our corporate center. I believe they offer jiu-jitsu classes that the employees can be part of.
You should do it.
Dude, that's in North Carolina.
Yeah, but if you ever visit, you should do it.
Yeah, look at me. Look at me. I'm more suited for sumo at this point.
So what? Just choke people. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah, I could just bear hug them, right?
Yeah, that's my thing. So, and then I'll be going to a women's retreat for jiu-jitsu in October with my sister and one of the other girls that we roll with at Roll Academy for Sophia McDermott. She is a black belt.
Okay, so I've heard there's gi and no gi?
Yes, gi and no gi. I've only done one no gi class, but it's really because of timing and having 2 kids and trying to schedule things. But I actually had a really good time in no gi. But generally, I have a gi.
I heard, like, if you travel a lot, like, no gi is probably better.
Yeah, because there's less stuff to carry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I did get a lightweight gi, and it fits really well in my bag. And that's why I was excited to go. I went to Paragon.
Uh-huh.
So it was
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's...
We have a Gracie Barra gym that I've been... Like, I'll drive by it, like, every so often. I'll be like, yeah, one day I think I'm going to go try that.
You should.
You know? Look,
it's never
donuts.
too late.
You know, yeah.
Never too late. Well, there was a chocolate store right next to the place that I went to last night. I'm like, this is a sign. I love chocolate. I love jiu-jitsu. Ah.
There you go. I mean, hey, man, no better sign has ever been made right there.
Yeah.
Dude, if there was a bar next to the chocolate place, it would have just been
down the line.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like, go get my workout in, grab a little dessert. Hey, look, a cocktail. Let's
see
go.
The bats.
Dude, those days.
Someday I will see the bats.
Yeah, it's called YouTube, man. I just gave a whole story on it.
That'll work.
Everything's there, you know.
But my point of that was, so I went and I'm seeing all these people on the bridge. I see all of them, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I have a feeling that as soon as I park, I'm going to get over there, and all those people will be gone because the bats just came out. And so I parked, and sure enough, I get there. But I met a couple other people on the bridge that were there for a work event.
Right.
They were in from Connecticut. And they said, we had no idea what this was. We just wandered over because there were a bunch of people here. I'm like, yeah, it's supposed to be checking out the bats. But I like talking to everybody and anybody, so I make friends wherever I go. That was my point.
Hence why you're in sales.
Yes, so I circled back around.
There you go. Well, and again, going back to why is religion so taboo? Yeah, everything's taboo.
That's true. You're going to offend anybody.
Yeah, like, honestly, somebody's going to be offended by this podcast.
I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm not sorry.
Yeah, well, you said it, I didn't. See, I got to do more of these. You're just a guest who gets to roll
Don't
in.
have her back.
Right? Talk
She's
smack and
allowed.
then leave.
Yeah.
I heard when you had that girl from Chicago on.
Yeah. It's because she's from
Whataburger
Chicago.
stealing ass. Like you did it, you know? So.
Yeah. But I love talking to people, and I've heard some crazy stories. Like one time I had a client, and I really have to explain how credit works so much to the point where I had a lady, and she's sitting in front of me, and she's pointing to her credit report, and she goes, that's not my account. That's not my account. And by the 5th time that she said the account wasn't hers, I'm like, all right, you're saying all 5 of these are not yours. Please explain. And she goes, well, my sister's here illegally, and I let her borrow my Social Security number, and she's supposed to be paying it. And I go, that's your account. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter that your sister was supposed to pay it. You are now responsible, and you're required to pay it. I'm sorry. That's just the rules of the game.
My sister's here illegally, and I let her borrow my social.
And I said, you know what? The only way to get around this would be to file a police report and let them know that she's stealing your identity. And
you ever have yours stolen?
I luckily have not.
I have.
Is that fun? Fun times, right?
No.
I've had my credit card information stolen, but not my whole identity, luckily. Knock on wood.
Dude, I had some dude who was working, I tracked it down. Like,
did you?
There was a whole issue, like, with the IRS. Because they were like, hey, you didn't file 2 of your W-2s. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one's from Iowa. I'm like, Iowa?
Yeah.
I've never been to Iowa. Like,
Let alone do I live there.
You know what? My geography's so bad, I couldn't point it out on an unlabeled map. Like, I got no idea what you're talking about. And they're like, well, nah, you worked 2 jobs. And, like, this was, 2016. And I'm like, really?
Did I?
Damn. Okay, that cloning crap worked. That was great. But, yeah, come to find out, I had my identity stolen. And oddly enough, it was just for work. What it all boiled down. Yeah, they just stole my stuff for work so they could get a job.
Are we allowed to swear on this?
Yeah.
Awesome.
But so there was never you go through and you start monitoring credit and stuff like that, and it was like nothing ever popped up that wasn't mine. But yeah, no, I had to go through this whole police report and everything, and I was like, dude, this is bullshit. But oh well. I mean, I've heard stories where people get the whole thing ripped. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And, cars and...
Where it affects them for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's also something that's not easy to roll back.
No, it's not. But there is a difference. Okay, so there's also something that happens sometimes where you may think somebody stole your identity, but what it is it's actually the bureaus and their algorithms and how they pull data. So basically, the 3 credit bureaus, since they're just databases of information, they store everything, and the computer systems can only be as good as we make them, right? So if you have somebody who has the same name, which is very possible, John Smith, in the same zip code, you can be tied to that person. And if that person has bad credit, that's going to come onto your credit report. Now, I have a twin sister, like I said. Luckily, she has good credit. But we've been tied together for years.
You're still in that identity, aren't you? You're playing on that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw what you drove up in here. No, but yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, the information actually gets tied together. So it's not, in fact, that somebody stole your identity. It's just that it kind of meshed together. It's intertwined now, and you gotta go through. It's like necklaces that get stuck together, and you gotta go through and find the piece and pull it out and find the piece.
Yeah, the only thing that stinks about that though is for example, if you go in and you hit that red flag button, right? Yeah. And they mark it, then anytime you want to apply for anything, there's 4 extra steps. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which I guess in the long term isn't really shouldn't be that big of a deal, but it's still better than the alternative, and that's having your stuff hacked.
Exactly. So, I mean, you got to weigh the pros and the cons and figure out what's best. But I've had that happen a lot. And I tell people without a police report, you can say identity theft all day long, jump up and down, wave your arms, but nothing's going to happen because the creditors are going to be like, yeah, we don't believe you.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did.
Yeah, and that's
it
what
was
you
awkward.
have to do.
It was awkward, though. I was living in South Texas. Yeah. And the cop even wasn't even sure how to really fill out the report. He was like, so wait a minute, you're telling me your identity was stolen in Idaho. And I'm like, or Iowa or wherever it was. And I'm like, yeah.
What are the I states?
Yeah, something with an I. And he was like, what am I going to do with this? I was like, you just need to file it apparently. Yeah. He's like, all right, sure. And so he took down all the info and gave me the thing. And then that was my quote unquote get out of jail free card.
Yeah. But it still takes time.
It did. Mm-hmm. It did. I would still get the call. I would still get the letters and stuff for a while, and then it finally went away. Yeah. But, yeah.
Have you ever gotten those fake phone calls from the IRS?
The
quote-unquote IRS.
All the time.
You owe us money, and we're going to freeze all your bank accounts unless you pay us right now.
Flipping time. It's that. It's I'm being sued. Yeah. It's tickets. Warrants. Yeah. I'm just real popular on that shit.
Apparently you are.
Yeah, and dude, I always love it because it's, hello, Mr. Scholl. I am calling from the IRS. This is referring case number 37225. And they got the fake case number and the whole 9 yards.
Do you just make up numbers while you're sitting there?
I would.
Yeah, right?
If I was, dude, I'd do, yeah.
Oh, you have one number written down, you use the same one every time you call?
Well, see, and the first time it ever happened to me, it was a warrant. Mm-hmm. It was for, they were calling me, supposedly I had a warrant. And this was before it was out on the news that there's,
scammers that are
that are doing this. But okay, so this guy calls me. I live up in Round Rock, which is Williamson County. Yeah. Now, Williamson County is known for being a very strict county. Okay. You screw around in Wilco, Like, forget it, right? And so anyway, the weird part is I wasn't, like, I was actually questioning myself for, like, a little bit. Like, wait a minute, hold on.
Wait a second.
I don't remember getting a ticket. Like, did I do something?
Yeah.
Like, oh, God, I ran that red light that one time, you know? It was like you start thinking about it.
Yeah.
But, like, never have I ever been asked to give money over the phone.
Right.
So the guy was pushing the whole thing like, I have already dispatched officers to your house, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, all right. Not kidding you. Like, I didn't give him any money.
Yeah.
But literally, like, I was like, okay, well, I'll just wait for them to show up. Like, but in my mind, like, I'm not being a smart ass.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like literally like, well, I guess I might have to, maybe I'm going to have to deal with this. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that they hired people from, South America at Wilco, but okay. And so we hang up. And he was like, okay, they will be there momentarily. Please surrender or whatever, right? And I'm like, okay. And I hung up, and I remember thinking, like, am I going to go to jail today? Like, is this real?
Yeah. Yeah.
And luckily, I was smart enough to actually get online, call. Oh, and that was the other part.
Yeah.
Because when it came out on my caller ID, it came out as Williamson County Sheriff.
Really?
I kid you not. Yeah. And so I ended up going online. And when I went online and looked up Williamson County Sheriff's Department, the number was actually different.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like they were running
Yeah.
like a pretty elaborate one.
Yeah.
So I called them and I'm like, hey, yeah, my name is Bob Scholl. Like, I just got a phone call that, like, you guys are coming to arrest me. And the lady was like, for what? I'm like, I honestly have no idea. But, yeah, like, I just got a call that there was a warrant. You guys wanted me to pay, like, $300 over the phone. She was like, Mr. Scholl, if we did have a warrant, you would have received 3 letters.
Yeah.
This, that, the other.
Yeah.
We don't call and ask for money. Like,
Yeah.
you're okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. And then...
All right.
Then I started searching for the scam thing, and that's when it was starting to rumble. Like, there were rumblings online about it.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, a couple months later, it just broke loose. Like,
Yeah.
now it's all over the news.
Yeah.
I'm actually shocked when they actually get people now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm surprised.
I know. Some people still don't know.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean,
I knew someone that did get the call from a quote-unquote IRS person and did end up going to take the money out. She was telling me about it, and she had a tax lien that she had been paying on, and the quote-unquote IRS said that, oh, no, now we need the payment all at once. And you can pay by credit card right now. And she's like, I don't have that kind of money on my credit card. I don't have that limit available. And she ended up, going to take money out of her 401k to pay it because they said that they were going to freeze all her accounts. And I mean, the IRS can do that, but you don't know.
Yeah.
She didn't end up paying them. She did take some of the money out of her 401k, but she didn't end up paying them.
But then she ended up Googling it first, right?
No, she called me.
She called. Oh, there you go. Ah, there it is.
She called me.
Here I
and
come
I go,
to
no.
save the day.
Yay! They'll win.
That's it.
Yeah.
Look at you just bringing value and service.
I did.
Just service and value.
And I get questions like that all the time. I mean, I've had couples call me up and they're like, we were just told that, same thing like you. If we don't pay this bill, they're coming to arrest us right now. Can they do that? No, they can't.
Yeah.
That's a scam.
It's crazy, though.
But if you think about it, so the thing with collections that drives me crazy that people just pay them over the phone without even knowing it. It's like, okay, so if in the same case, let's say you're walking down the street and somebody knows your name. Hey, Bobby, it's great to see you again, but you owe me $500. For what?
Yeah.
What? I lent it to you like 5 years ago, so pay up. Are you going to pay somebody? Like, somebody walks up to you on the street and you don't even remember their name. Just because they got your name right doesn't mean that you should go through and pay them. You should have a bill.
Yeah.
You have the right to a physical bill.
Well, but the other thing, too, is that, people don't realize, well, I don't know how much they realize or not, but I'm assuming they don't, is, your collections will get sold over and over and over. And the weird part is they're getting bought for pennies on the dollar.
Oh, I know.
But yet they want you to pay full pop.
Of course.
But we'll settle today for half.
Well, how do you think they make their money?
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh, and we're going to add interest and penalty fees and late fees. But yeah, we'll settle for half, which is like still more than what you originally owed anyway.
Right. Isn't there a clause though? And I had heard this before. If you get a call from a collection agency, like their whole goal is to get you to say yes one time. Is that a thing? Have you ever heard that?
I haven't heard that.
Like
but
whether
that's
it's like,
interesting.
can I speak to Bobby Shull? Like, can I ask who's calling? Is this Bobby Shull? Depends on who this is.
Answer a question with a question.
Like, well, I'm
you tell
looking
me
for
who this
Bobby
is?
Shull. Well, I might be Bobby Shull, but who are you?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is so and so from such and such, and it's like, oh, okay. Well, you found who you're looking for, but yet they'll like keep pressing to get you to say yes.
Just the word yes.
Yeah, and
Interesting.
I'd heard an old wise tale that there was something about once you acknowledge that it's you're screwed.
Huh. I have heard.
But if they can't verify you, then they can't keep bugging you.
I've seen on the credit reports where it's been updated once they verify some information. So I tell people, if a collection company calls you, tell them to send the bill in writing. Say, I don't know what this is. I don't know who you are. I don't know if I actually owe this debt. I want a letter in writing showing what I owe and who I owe it to. Because, again, if somebody walks up to you on the street and says, you owe the bill for XYZ, are you really going to pay it?
We should do a study where we try that.
Oh, okay.
Right? We should just take this out and start a Facebook Live video and just walk up and down the road and be like, hey, I'm Bobby Shull from XYZ Collection Agency. We're glad we found you. You owe us $250.
Right.
I wonder if anybody would actually pay up.
I wonder too. This would be interesting.
You should try
a really
that,
good social
right?
experiment.
Why don't you go try that at the domain before you fly back
Oh,
home?
yeah.
Yeah. Let me know how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm going to hide here in my office and laugh.
I think if a man did that to another man,
I'd get knocked the hell out.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I can imagine fights breaking out.
Yeah. Like, hey, man.
Hey.
Hey. Remember that 20?
Yeah.
Like, dude, I don't even know who you are.
Walk up to him. Hey, it's good to see you again.
Right?
Don't you remember me? Yeah. I let you borrow $100 like 5 years ago. So
there was a time in
my
my life when I would have been brave enough to do that, but it's not now. I got kids and
yeah, right.
responsibilities.
Yeah. I don't want to be punched in the face either. So.
Yeah, you're in jiu-jitsu.
I know.
Oh, that's
I get
choking.
hit enough.
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I found some gnarly bruises after last night.
Dude, how do you explain that to the better half when you get home?
I just have. I guess I bruise easily.
Right. Hey, how was your trip? Well, yeah, right. I'm all beat to hell, but I did a podcast.
Yeah, did a podcast, did some jiu-jitsu, but
let me
there's
ask you
nobody
this.
that's going to be checking me out, so.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. You have a collection.
Yeah.
Collection sells to ABC Collection Agency.
Okay.
Right? They're
Yeah.
trying to collect for it. ABC realizes you ain't never going to pay.
Mm-hmm.
They sell to XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
XYZ reports it as a new collection.
Yes.
Is that legal or no?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, they purchased the debt. They can report.
So in other words, if you let something go to collection, the age-old adage of it'll fall off in so many years, because let's face it, everybody sells their stuff now.
Yeah.
Right?
And it does. It's supposed to fall off, and there's statute of limitations that they can legally collect. But let's look at it this way. First off, there's 7 years from the date of last activity with the original creditor, unless you make a payment or you update the account. Right.
Right.
So let's just say ABC purchased.
Define update the account.
If you call and verify all your information, if you that's
so
what
if
you
you own up to saying yes on the phone.
Oh yeah, this is my debt.
See, that's what it was tied to about the saying yes part.
Yes.
That's what it was. Okay.
Just say yes.
Sorry.
No, don't say yes.
I have no idea.
I do not know.
Right.
I do not know what you're talking about.
All right, sorry. Go ahead.
So yeah, let's just say the original creditor sells to ABC Collection. Mm-hmm. And let's say it's been 2 years since the date of last activity when they purchase it, right? So they go through and they report it for another 2 years. So now 4 years have been established from the date of last activity to the original or to the current date. Mm-hmm. So then they could sell it again to XYZ company and they could still report because they have 7 years to report. Now it does still go off of the date of last activity, but of course, do all the collections follow the rules? What do we think?
I'm going to say no, Kelly.
recently saw a collection from 2010 on a credit report. And then the date of last activity, that's the last time they reported it. And the date of last activity was 2008. I'm like, I'm going to go with this is not supposed to be on here.
Yeah.
So,
This one should go away.
Yeah. And it was on all 3 credit bureaus, surprisingly.
Dude.
I was a little floored by that one.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's so many like little nuanced
Right.
tips and tricks, right?
Yeah.
But that's what y'all get paid to do.
Exactly.
Hi.
Yeah.
Can't give away all the
Yeah.
goodies. You guys are doing a lot with like student loan education now, right? Am I right on that?
We have a student loan division that really helps because
But it's not very old.
it's 3-4 years old.
Okay.
Run by a lady named Amanda Jackson, who is phenomenal. She's really good at what
I've
she
heard
does.
good things.
Yeah, she's so smart. She's so motivated. She wants to help people, and it's a great thing. It's a great service because when it comes down to it, let's face it, the student loans, they make their money off the interest. So they're not trying
They
to.
never go
They
away.
never go. You could file bankruptcy.
And you still have
And
it.
you will still own it. The world will end, and there will be cockroaches and student loans.
Yes. It's the most absurd, just ridiculous shit out
Yeah.
there right now. Like, it's crazy. And how easy it is for kids to get these things.
Oh, I know.
It's just,
It's
sign right here.
insane.
I mean, think about it. Remember back in the day when you'd go to spring break, like whatever, insert beach here, and it was like the credit card companies were standing out there. It's like, hey, you want a T-shirt? Sign up for a credit card, and kids would
Lord.
walk away with thousands of dollars in credit card debt because they would immediately go charge them up.
Right.
So, but like same thing with student loans, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
You're not getting them at spring break, but damn, like it's just basically a heartbeat and a signature.
Yeah, and what's insane to me is that they're not explaining to kids how much they'll end up paying in the long run.
Yeah.
So let's say we'll get this now, and yeah, there's some times that they can get deferments or forbearance where the interest doesn't collect. But in the end, if they're deferring it, and the interest just starts racking up and racking up, I mean, you have a $20,000 loan that's now $50,000.
Yeah.
And you're going to pay on that the next 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's look at this. Is this a really smart idea?
Yeah. No, I don't think
The
so.
answer is no.
The answer is no, ladies and gentlemen.
And I
But I
believe-
mean, then again, the cost of education now is for a
insane.
college is stupid high.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and my daughter goes to one of the, like, a good school, but like not holy crap expensive. But even then, it's like, holy shit.
From my understanding, people are just saying, you know what, go to a regular college, get your degree, and get a master's from there.
Right.
At a
That's
much
what she's gonna
better.
do.
Yeah, and that's the smarter thing to do because not as many people have masters, but I mean, you run into 5 people and 4 of them are going to have a bachelor's degree.
Well, here's another fun fact. I don't know, but like,
Let's see the fun fact for the day.
yeah. So our daughter, she started her sophomore year.
Yeah.
At her university this year. But the thing is like for a lot of these kids, and this may have always been there and I just didn't know it because I didn't go to college. But the first year, man, you've got to live in the dorm. Not even an option.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you're going to like a community college. But like if you're going to university, you're living in that dorm.
Yep.
You're on that meal plan.
Yep.
You're taking, like, they're just.
And the general education classes that you have to take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to get out of the way. So like what I saw a lot of her friends do, she was telling me, is they went to community for the first year.
Yeah.
That way they can go and enter these other schools as sophomores.
That's smart.
And it reduces like, overhead costs and stuff like that.
And I mean, those.
Oh, and then going back to the student loans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like they're not just, like in some cases, they're not just giving you enough money to cover the tuition.
Oh, I know.
Like you can jack that number up.
Buy your Wendy's meals, your bar runs.
Yeah, pay your rent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that spending money.
Dude.
And you're paying interest on it later. So how much was that Frosty, really? That $1 Frosty ends up being like $5.
Yeah, and it
$10.
ain't that damn great no more.
Right?
Come on. Anyway.
But the student loan division, I mean, there are other programs out there, and is Sally Mae going to tell you about them?
Well, and that's the thing. So, like, tell me more about what you guys are doing with this because I've heard Carl talk about it.
Right.
Right? Barely?
I can give you some information. I stick to the credit side because that's like, I could talk about credit all day long. I can tell you stories all day long, but the student loan division, I know enough to get me by. But essentially, if you think about it, these these creditors, these student loan creditors, are not really going to tell you what kind of programs are available to you.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is why? Well, because they make money on it. I believe it was, and if I want to make sure I'm correct on this, but I could be wrong. I think it was the CEO of Nelnet when they were going through everything, and they had to be under oath. And the question was posed to the CEO, aren't you trying to help your clients to save money? And he said, no, that's not my job. My job is to collect their money and to charge them interest.
Boom.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, mic drop, they want to keep you in programs. Don't worry, we'll defer this for you because eventually you're going to have to pay it and they're government backed. So guess what? They're not going anywhere.
Tell you what, man, I may end up being a client again.
They're going to
just
wage
for my
garnish.
daughter's sake.
They will take your taxes.
Oh, yeah. No, it's brutal.
You have to pay those bad boys. You're not getting away from
You're
it.
not going
And the
away.
more you defer it, the more it racks up. So they're going to be like, yeah, don't worry about it.
It's all good.
It's okay. We'll take care of this for you.
Tell you what, call me when you're ready to make a payment.
Yeah.
It's
By
all
that
good.
time, it's going to be tripled.
Come on now.
Yeah. You didn't want that house payment?
Right? Yeah.
That's what it turns out to be.
Yeah, that car was going to be a little too expensive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to education.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. Mm-hmm. So what's new on the horizon over at Rising Point?
What's new on the horizon?
Yeah, like what's going on? You got anything exciting coming up or just business as usual?
Business as usual. We're going to be, like I said, doing the golf outing. Just trying to get the education piece out there and making sure that people understand about credit.
We may be back out there this year.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I do videos, weekly videos about credit. And I try to keep them under 2 minutes, really under a minute if I can. But like quick segments about credit so that people can share and learn and understand how credit works.
So if I was somebody out there and I was looking to improve the status of my credit, would I reach out to you or just the company in general?
Me.
You.
Always me.
You're the man.
Woman. Whoa, man.
Whoa, man. Whoa. You remember that movie?
Yes. So I married an axe murderer.
Okay.
Thank God.
Whoa.
So I just had this conversation
There's
like
your mic drop moment.
2 weeks ago. I was trying to ask somebody, so have you ever seen it? And my friends were like, they're giving me the blank stare, like, what? So I married an axe murderer. You've never seen it?
My favorite character is when he plays his dad.
Yes, the dad.
Yes.
Head, move, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Bay City Rollers. And they're just listening to Bay City Rollers like all the time. SATUR. Anyway.
Yes. Let's see. He's going to go cry himself to sleep on his big pillow.
Yes, dude. Oh, my God.
Great
That
movie.
was a trip, man. That was one of those that flew under the radar, though.
Yes.
Not a lot of people know about that movie.
Yeah.
It ain't like, when he did Wayne's World and all the other stuff,
Yeah.
But,
Good
dang,
stuff.
it was good.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm so glad I met another fan.
Yeah. So with that though, like going back to you're the whoa man. How do they find you? How do they contact you? How would somebody engage Kelly Stone?
So my information is on the website, risingpointsolutions.com.
Okay.
You can find me on Facebook. Let's see, or my email, which is really super long. We were not forward thinking with our website address, risingpointsolutions.com. So, of course, it's Kelly at risingpointsolutions.com for my email. I know, it's super long.
You
Isn't that
guys just
crazy?
can't like RPS it?
Yeah, we looked into it. Somebody already has RPS, so.
Cheap. Carl, stop being a cheapskate, man. By RPS.
RPS. Wouldn't that be convenient? But, yeah, that, and you can call me on my cell phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Don't go giving your cell phone number out on this
Can I give it now?
No. No, but when I post this later on today, I'm going to be tagging you in it.
All right.
So if your cell phone happens, I just don't want it to come back and be like, hey, man, I gave my cell phone out on your podcast and I got like all these freak calls, like, hey. No.
I've had some weird
I don't
calls.
need the stalker.
People call me in the middle of the night, silent. Sorry, I'm tired, I'm sleeping.
Really? People call you in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
I don't get that.
You don't?
No.
Oh.
Ain't nobody trying to call this.
What's the...
I mean, like, right? Like, he's like, nah, man, it's good. I'm cool.
Do you have, like, one story in your job history that you can think about that you dealt with a client that you're like, oh, my God?
I've got a lot. I mean, I started
the one that stands out.
I started doing mortgages in South Texas, so yeah, I've had some stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, and it was like the really odd stories though, probably come from when I was salesperson for a mobile home dealership. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can see the characters.
Oh, dude, like it
I
was.
can picture it.
Yeah, the whole joke was like, you would go in there and it was like, welcome to Jurassic Park. Like, I mean, it was a trip. Like, don't get me wrong, it was one of the coolest jobs I could have ever hoped for.
Yeah.
Because the people I worked with, the company was a great company.
Yeah.
But, it was just like there would be these clients that would come in. But anyway, from the mortgage side, I've never had to deal with any kind of like stalkerazzi kind of crap like that. None of that. But I've just had people who all right. So
as you pause and sigh.
I am, man, because I'm like, oh God, can I even tell this?
I got a good one if I'm allowed to tell it.
Dude.
I have one that sticks out.
All right. So the worst credit story. Let's do that one.
Okay.
All right. So long story short, it was a deal where, because whenever there's collections or something like that, back then, a lot of times if it was old enough or a certain degree of lesson severity, you could do a letter of explanation.
Yes.
As to what happened with that. Mm-hmm. And, okay, it's the underwriter's discretion. So anyway, I had a client and I was like, okay, I told him these are the accounts. I need you to go home. I need you to write me these letters because I'm not, I don't write these letters. Like, you need to write these letters and sign it and, whatever, right? So he goes home, and it wasn't even like the next day. It was like a week goes by, right? Because we hadn't put him, he wasn't under contract yet. We were trying to get him approved first because it was a sticky situation. So like a week later, he's like, hey, man. I got those letters. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm out of the office today. Just drop them off with my assistant. So go back in the next day, and there are those letters. And I open up the first letter, and it was some stupid like Home Depot credit card for like $400 or something silly.
Yeah.
And the the explanation was, I took card. Made little payment, balance no go down. I said to hell with it. I'm not kidding. Like, I said to hell with it and signed the letter. Sign that shit. Like, it was just like
it was proud.
Dude, I told him, stick it up your, and I'm like, whoa, hey, easy there, Howard Stern. Like, okay. And so I call him back and I'm like, hey, bro, I don't think these are going to work.
Yeah.
Well,
sorry.
I was like, and then of course, eventually, he got it. Yeah. Right. But anyway, yeah. And that's one of them. I mean, a lot of times, like every client's different.
Yeah.
I can tell you my biggest tearjerker.
Okay.
I remember the one that like.
You're not going to make me cry, are you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But like I remember like I was choked up on this file for a long time.
Okay.
So I had a family, just a beautiful young, just sweetheart family, and it was sent over to me by a realtor back in Brownsville, and I remember I pulled credit and like, yeah, okay, there was, maxed out cards, there was a bunch of medical collections, there was this, there was that, it's a little bit of slow pay, and I'm like. But I could see prior to like a year ago, dude, they were perfect.
Right.
And then boom. And then now their last 6 months have been okay. So I'm like, okay, something happened.
Yeah.
So, called them in, I was like, look, I'm going to see if I can help you. I can't make no promises, but the scores were still pretty low.
Yeah.
La, 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 la. Long story short, when they come in, we kind of start unwrapping everything. So we go through the application, and then, after you do the application, you would break down the credit report. Mm-hmm. And so we're breaking down the credit report, and I'm like, guys, like, this is where I'm confused. Like, you're perfect, bad, and now you're getting back on track. Like, what happened? And the story they told me just broke my heart. they had a baby, and they didn't know, but the baby would have seizures. But they didn't know what was wrong with the baby at first. So literally, like, they brought the baby home. Within like the first week, the baby starts having seizures. They can't figure out why. The baby's in the hospital. Like they're having to take it back and forth to the hospital. They're having to travel. They're having to go to Houston to have the baby looked at because the doctors there couldn't diagnose.
Yeah.
But meantime, this baby's just having seizures every day. Like going through a lot.
Yeah.
So racked up every credit card, borrowed every bit of money they could get. Long story short, as you would. Got the baby diagnosed, figured out a plan, got with the right medical care. Baby was doing better. They were starting to rebuild their life. But that period of time, it was like almost bankruptcy kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And like I remember that being the one. It was like, oh, come hell or high water, you're getting a house.
Yeah.
And took me 45 days because back then we were working with different sets of guidelines.
Yeah.
And, you know, there was a lot more kind of flexibility in certain areas.
Right.
But yeah, 45 days later, I got to hand them their keys.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. But I remember that was the file I went in. Dude, I had medical records. I had, you know, like, you just like gear up for war. You know,
you're prepared.
Yeah,
documentation.
Yeah, you're just geared up for war. It ain't the, you know, I told them to show the credit card. You know,
I love how perfectly you do that.
And signed it. You know, like with action. You know, it was like, oh,
with gusto.
Yeah, he was fired up. You know. Chinga tu madre, güey. You know, like cussing in Spanish. But anyway, but that was like my biggest tearjerker.
Yeah.
And like it was so rewarding. And I mean, I remember when I would originate, like, it was always great to be able to help somebody or whatever. Because there's equal parts. Like, the compensation's good, but you know, you also get to help people realize a big part of their life.
Yeah.
But on that one, it was just a little different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was awesome.
Yeah. That's awesome. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're so lucky they had you.
Yes, they were. If I may be so humble. No, but I mean, honestly, I think anybody with half a brain would have jumped all over that.
And a pulse. Yeah.
Yeah. And a heart.
A heart.
Yeah. I don't know about a pulse.
Okay.
A heart.
That's what I was going for with the pulse thing, but yeah.
Yeah, you missed the mark.
I did.
You did.
Fail.
I mean, we were on such a good trajectory.
I know.
Dude.
Fell short.
Give those Kleenexes back. Anyway, so when so you heading back to Chicago today?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I leave tonight.
When's Carl coming back?
2 months.
2 months?
Yeah, for the golf.
You're coming together? Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I'll fly in. He'll drive down.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so one more time. Tell everybody how to get a hold of you. Leave out your cell phone number.
You can reach me by going to our website at risingpointsolutions.com. You can email me at kelly@risingpointsolutions.com. Either way, or find me on Facebook.
Yeah, if you don't want to type all those words, just find her on Facebook.
Kelly but there Stone. Are a lot of Kelly Stones, so
you're going to have to stand out. You're going to have to find a way to stand out. So, yeah, like Judo Queen 974 or something like that.
It's Jiu-Jitsu.
Sorry. My bad. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed this episode of the Big B Mortgage Podcast. If you did, give us a like, give us a share, but whatever you do, please stay social, everybody.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
It's been a blast.
Thank you for coming, man. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
you didn't have to put my head in a vice.
No. And dude, I didn't even know I was going to be in town today. It was great.
Worked out.
Yeah, she literally sent me an email, and when I didn't answer it in 5 minutes, she called. It was awesome.
I mean, I just stalk a little bit.
A little bit.
It's all right.
Yeah, I've seen you on my LinkedIn page.
Hey.
Take it easy now. Hey, everybody. Have a good one. Stay social. See you next time. Bye.